I, along with the rest of the nation and indeed the world, watched as Hurricane Harvey made landfall late Friday with winds of up to 130 miles per hour. Harvey pretty much stalled when it made landfall, which led to immense amounts of rain. Houston has already had over 40 inches of rain, with 50 inches expected by Wednesday. This has led to vast areas of populations becoming rivers. As of August 28, 2017, 13 people have already died and countless others were injured. The number left homeless cannot even begin to be fathomed at this point. President Trump headed to Texas on Tuesday, the 28th, after signing a federal disaster proclamation over the weekend. Like so many other Americans, I watched in awe at the seemingly endless scenes of personal bravery, heroism, and self sacrifice of average citizens and trained professionals alike as they work to help those in need. People risk their lives not just for their fellow man, but for pets, animals that owners were forced to abandon in some cases, or just refused to abandon in others. Outpourings of donations, blood drives, offers for volunteers to physically come to Texas and help came in from all over the nation. It was truly a moment to make all the divisiveness of the last year seem to disappear in just an instant. That was, of course, until I made the mistake of going on social media and the online news. While Americans were struggling for their very lives, others were risking their lives to save them. I saw things on Twitter that sickened me to no end. People, and I use that term in only the loosest, most base way, were tweeting out that Hurricane Harvey was karma's way of punishing the people of Texas for voting for Trump, as if Texas was somehow personally responsible for the outcome of the entire presidential election. I saw tweets that gleefully spouted such disgusting things like the hurricane would wipe clean Texas of all the filthy rednecks that had made Donald Trump president. Tweets that hoped that the white people would die in mass as a result of it. It didn't seem to occur to the people posting these tweets that, in addition to all these filthy rednecks, there would be black Americans, Latino Americans, Americans of every ethnicity, sexuality, religion, every walk of life. They would all be in the path of this exact same hurricane. And if it cleansed all the white nationalist neo Nazis off the face of the earth, it would take them out as well. Then, of course, there was the looting. Those that have a black pit where the human soul should reside, those that took advantage of a natural disaster to line their own pockets with stolen goods, even as families lost everything to the storm and resultant flooding. I even saw several of these looting parties ignorant enough to post pictures of themselves stealing, making tweets or Facebook posts under their own names, not even bothering to cover their faces, as if they were proud of what they were doing. Yes, the state and federal authorities are a little busy right now attempting to save lives and restore order, but do you fools not think that there will come a time when the authorities will not have the time to review these posts, not have the time to hunt you down, not have the time to arrest you and send you to a federal prison for the rest of your lives for what you've done? How ignorant a person do you have to be to post a photo of yourself in the act of looting without even covering your face or attempting to hide your identity? Not only are you devoid of a soul, but you also seem to be devoid of any common sense. While we're on the topic of covering faces to hide identities, we of course have to stop the entire world and talk about Antifa beating down neo Nazis. There's no reason to let something as trivial as a national disaster divert our attention from this never changing video loop that these rallies have become. This time we find ourselves back at Berkeley, where a large group of black clad protesters arrived at a free speech rally, this time carrying large placards that read "No Hate." I find this particularly repugnant since the people that were beaten were within the very view of these signs. Irony, thy name is Berkeley. Even the mainstream media, which up to this point has steered the plot of this saga pretty much to show Antifa in the best light as forward thinking, brave Americans out to end the evils of fascism and white nationalism, were forced to concede the point that there were no neo Nazis to punch, no members of the KKK to pound into submission, and as such, they pretty much just attacked anyone who happened to be in their way. While truly brave Americans were risking everything to save their fellow man less than 2,000 miles away, cowards in black masks were busy assaulting Americans that just happened to be out walking around at the wrong place at the wrong time. I could drone on and on about the assaults at Berkeley, but I won't. I could go into lurid detail about every tweet, every Facebook post, every YouTube comment that called for and hoped for the death of my fellow Americans, but I won't do that either. I won't do it because what I have seen over the last 4 days has shown me that while, yes, there are still fools that expend inordinate amounts of time and energy trying to spout hate while hiding behind the guise of being those that would stop that very hate. There are far, far more Americans that are willing to give up all they have, up to and including their lives, for people that they don't even know, simply because they are Americans. They don't care if they're white or black or brown. They don't care what sexuality they are, if they're transgender. They don't care if they're liberals or conservatives. To the brave men and women that are, as I speak to you right now, risking their lives, the people that are helping are Americans. And the people that they are helping are Americans. And God damn it, that's good enough for them. And if it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me. Long live the Republic, the United States of America, still, for all its faults, the best place on planet Earth.